What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I am Chad, the Reseller Rockefeller. So today is actually July the 29th. I know it's been a while since I made any content. I want to say thank you for stopping by and watching another video. If you're new to the channel, I am a full-time reseller. I've been buying and selling stuff for going on 15 years. I buy and sell mainly on eBay and Amazon. I also do local deals. I do a lot of Facebook Marketplace, Let Go, Offer Up. We do everything when it comes down to buying and selling stuff. So if you're into that kind of lifestyle or that way of life where you like to wheel and deal and that's how you make money by hustling and buying items and reselling them different places, then this is the channel for you. We talk about reselling, we talk about business, we talk about, how to grow a successful reselling business. And we also talk about just, enjoying this way of life, enjoying what it is that you do on a day-to-day basis. That's what's most important. So on today's video, we're going to be talking about networking and relationship building and why I consider that to be the number 2 most important thing in the reselling business. So I'm going to go into depth a little bit on why I think it's so important. I'm also going to give you some examples of why it is extremely important. So first example is I'm always out there. I'm always at yard sales. I'm always at estate sales. I'm thrift stores, wherever. And everywhere I go, I'm constantly networking. I'm trying to bring people in and I'm trying to introduce myself. I'm trying to give them a business card. I'm trying to let them know who I am, what it is that I do, and that is the most important thing. There's so many resellers out there that are just kind of in the closet about being a reseller. They don't like to share that they're a reseller. They kind of do it at home, or maybe they have an office or a warehouse, but it's almost like they're incognito. They don't like to share the fact that they're a reseller. And I think it's a crucial point, in somebody's career where you have to kind of step out and you have to just say, I don't care about, trying to portray being a normal person, because that seems to be what everybody thinks. Everybody thinks that, when I go out to yard sales or I'm at an estate sale, if they know that I'm a reseller, then I'm not going to get the best deals. I'm not going to be able to negotiate, or there's all of these different opinions and assumptions of why you shouldn't tell people that you're a reseller. And I agree on a certain level. I think that there are times and places when, giving up that you're a reseller might damage you or potentially, make things worse for you. But for the most part, I believe that, being a business and being, a person that has knowledge can actually benefit you in most circumstances, as long as you know how to use that information to benefit you. Obviously, I wouldn't just tell somebody that I'm a reseller if I'm standing in front of them and they're about to sell me an item that, is really expensive and they haven't given me a price yet, and I'm not just going to verbally, hey, I'm a reseller, then they're going to know that I'm interested in the item, then they're going to know that I'm buying the item to resell it, and then they're most likely going to give me a higher price. So in that certain circumstance, I wouldn't tell somebody that I'm a reseller. But when I talk about networking and building relationships, most of the time, I'm not really talking about that particular situation. I'm talking about, after you make deals at yard sales, make sure that you tell people, hey, look, I'm a reseller. If you have anything like this, or if you come across anything like this, give me a call. Here's my business card. You would be shocked to know how many times I buy stuff from people. For instance, about 3 weeks ago, I was at an estate sale. It was a family-owned, family-operated estate sale. It wasn't ran by a company or anything of that nature. And I was, buying a bunch of items. I ended up buying a bunch of Indian stuff. It was, a lot of artifacts, a lot of pre-Columbian items. I found some, a bunch of different items. The guy was a huge collector. He passed away. His son, his daughters, they were selling the estate, and I ended up buying quite a few items. I ended up spending close to $1,000. After I purchased the items, I kind of lingered around the estate sale. I was talking to other resellers. I was talking to some people, just mingling, and I ended up telling the people, that I was a reseller. They were like, oh, okay, cool, that's great. I hope you can find these items a good home. I gave them my business card. I said, look, if you have anything else from the estate that you didn't, want to sell today, because you got to understand, some people at yard sales and estate sales, they won't put out the good stuff. If they have really good stuff, they're not going to put it out at a yard sale because, they're hoarding it inside, thinking that one day they're going to find somebody that's going to pay up for those items. It's not really beneficial for them to put it in the yard sale. So that was the exact situation. In this instance, this gentleman told me, yeah, I'll give you a call. We do have some more stuff. We have quite a bit of stuff that we didn't want to sell at the estate sale. If it's stuff that you're interested in, we would love for you to come over and take a look at it. He also told me that he had quite a few items that he had absolutely no clue what they were worth or what they were, what it even was. So, this is when telling him I'm a reseller, telling him I'm a professional, telling him and reassuring him that not only am I here to help him, but I can also help him on identifying items, giving him information that he did not have. That is the kind of stuff that I consider to be networking, relationship building. And this is the crucial part of taking your business from that amateur, beginner stages to the pro, big dog stages. That is that dividing line, and you'll see it in resellers. You'll know who these resellers are when you see them out there, the kind of resellers that are building huge, profitable, successful businesses are the ones that are actually out there in the trenches, in the fields, hustling and grinding and making things work, making things happen. Those are the people that are going to, succeed the most, and that's who you have to be in this business. So, let me get back to that story. I ended up giving him my business card. We parted ways. About 3 or 4 days later, I ended up getting a phone call from this gentleman, him and his sisters. They wanted me to come over to their house and take a look at what they had. So I ended up going over there. I didn't even really go over there with a lot of cash. I think I, brought like $1,000, $800 or something. I didn't really understand exactly what they were going to have. Well, I ended up showing up, and as I go into the house, they have tons of stuff all on the floor. So basically, his father was a collector. He collected arrowheads, shark's tooth. He collected Indian things, other different, tons of like artifacts. He had some really interesting items. Now, I'm no expert. I'm not anything, I don't work in a museum. I'm not a curator. I don't know a ton about these kinds of items, but I know enough to get by. I know enough to, look at an item and immediately tell if it's a real thing or if it's just something that's made to look old. And basically, I ended up working a deal out. I ended up buying a few other items from him, but I ended up actually sending this guy and his sisters to a really good friend of mine who works at the museum here in Gainesville, Florida. And I wanted them to take these artifacts over there to them and get everything looked at and get it like authenticated. And basically, the museums will do this for you. If you didn't know that, you can take items to a museum. You can have a curator look at it. Most of the times, you're going to have to drop an item off and then come back and pick it up, a week, 2 weeks later. Sometimes it'll even take longer than that. It just depends on the museum and how busy they are. But they will definitely look at items. They enjoy doing it. That's what they love to do, and they're really good at it. They know what they're talking about. Obviously, it's a museum, so they have the knowledge, they have the education, and that's what I do with a lot of items, especially good stuff like this. So I told them plain and simple, take it to the museum, have them look at it, see if they'll write up something for you, and if you decide to sell it, I will make you the best offer that I can possibly make you, or you can take it to other places and get some offers from them. Seeing that it wasn't really stuff that I really deal in, I wasn't really pressing the issue. I did buy some artifacts from them at an estate sale, but it was so cheap that I knew I was going to make money, and it was a little bit, I would say, the lower end items of their father's collection. But anyways, that was just a brief short story, but it's a prime example of why building relationships and networking is so important in this business. I do it all the time. At thrift stores, I'm constantly, if a new thrift store opens up, as of right now, I know all of the owners for pretty much every thrift store in my local area. But if a new thrift store opens up, I automatically go there. I automatically introduce myself. I give them business cards. I let them know the kind of stuff that I'm looking for. And I try to build that relationship. I want to know what they're looking for, what kind of stuff do they specialize in, and I'll help them if they can help me, and vice versa. That's how this networking goes. You want to make sure that you're providing something to them, and then they're also providing something to you. That's how you got to do this. That's how you become extremely successful in the reselling business. I get phone calls all the time from thrift store owners. You know, you got to understand that when somebody owns a thrift store, most of the times, they'll only buy stuff if they have the capital. If they've, say they've been spending a bunch of money in the month of July and they ran through all of their spending money, but their store didn't take in a lot of money, they're going to start refusing items. Now, in the business of thrift stores and trading posts and places like that, most of the times they buy all the time no matter what because they have enough capital. But a lot of these smaller, mom and pop thrift stores, I find it, really common that these kinds of places, they'll refuse things because they just don't have that capital right then and there. So when they do this, he's always recommending those people to give me a call. So they provide me with, stuff all the time. I'm always buying stuff from these random people that say they went into the thrift store to try to sell some stuff. That place wasn't buying those items, or they weren't in the market to buy any items. They recommended me to you. I buy stuff all the time like that. So that's another key prime example of why this is so important. Same thing with pawn shops. People got to understand that yes, pawn shops are, they're all over the place. They do a lot of business. And I form a lot of relationships with the owners of all of these pawn shops. And the reason that I do this is not because I like pawn shops, because honestly, I think pawn shops take advantage of people. I understand the reselling business. I understand the business of buying and selling items, but I don't understand how pawn shops do business. That's a whole nother story, a whole nother topic. I don't like really pawn shops, but as far as my business goes, I do form relationships with them. I have a bunch of different pawn shops in the local area that I do business with. Sometimes they'll call me up or they'll refer people to me. If it's items that they don't buy. A lot of pawn shops don't mess with clothing items. They don't mess with older electronics. Most pawn shops don't mess with anything that's vintage or antique. Most of the pawn shops, especially in my area, they only deal with your basic stuff. Watches, jewelry, diamonds, and high-end electronics and tools. That's really about it. Also electronics like gaming and stuff like that. When it's outside of that little bubble, they don't really mess with it. So if you can form relationships with the owners or maybe a manager, then you can tell them, look, every time somebody brings in an item like, vintage or clothing or anything outside of what you buy, give them my name, give them my number, and I'll do the same for you. If people come to me and they're trying to sell me stuff that maybe I can't afford, or maybe it's stuff that I don't really want to mess with, I will send them to you. You got to remember that when you're forming relationships like this, it has to be beneficial for both parties. They're not going to do it unless they're benefiting, from it, and you're not going to do it unless you're benefiting from it. But I guarantee you it's a great relationship to build. You need to start doing this with everybody in your local area. I mean, that's the whole point of being, a reseller, is networking and building relationships with people. Same thing goes for, these estate companies. So I know a lot of you that go out to estate sales and yard sales, you know that most estate sales are ran by estate companies. These are companies that will come in, they will liquidate somebody's estate, and they will take a percentage of the actual money made. So if you can get in good with these people, not only is it going to help you when you go to estate sales, you're going to be able to get better deals. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the owners of these estate companies, they work off of profit margins. They work off of numbers. They don't care about the item. They don't care about anything else other than the numbers. And if you go to them and you're legit and you buy stuff in large quantities, or you spend a lot of money with them, they're going to start breaking you better deals every time you come. So I have formed relationships over the past 15 years dealing with these people, I know them on a personal level. Some of them I know very, very well. And if I go into an estate sale and I see a bunch of stuff that I'm trying to buy, say that I'm going to be spending a total of like $200, I am personally going to be able to get those items for like $150. So it's worth building the relationship because you're going to be able to get deals from them, and you're also going to be able to do other things. I've been contacted by these same estate companies when they have, huge estates, and then when they get done, they have a bunch of leftover stuff that they don't feel like taking back to their warehouse. Most of these estate companies nowadays don't even have a retail location. So, you can always benefit from these kinds of relationships. And that's why I'm always telling people that networking and building relationships in the reselling business is almost as important as, the amount of knowledge that you have. Obviously, I am a firm believer on knowledge is king. The more you know, the more money you're going to be able to make, and the more successful your business is going to be. But second in line, right below that, is networking and relationship building. I think that those two things are really important. So if you're out there and you're watching this video, you need to really think about what I'm saying. Networking is really a key feature in the reselling business, and it really is important. And that's my little thing, my little spill on networking and relationship building. Other than that, folks, I want to say thank you to everybody who is still subscribed to the channel. I understand that I haven't been putting out much content lately. I am dealing with some serious issues. I finally just got a new camera, so I'm going to be filming on this one from now on, not my cell phone. But I am having some internet problems. I am out in the country in a real rural area, and I just don't have that good of internet as of right now. We're going to be switching internet companies, and we're going to try some different companies and see, how good my internet can get. So it takes a lot longer to upload videos, and that's really one of the main things that's stopping me from making a lot of content. So there's going to be more content to come. I'm going to be doing some videos hopefully this coming up week. I got a bunch of new items out in the warehouse that I want to show you guys. I got a bunch of different things that I want to talk about. We're going to be going yard selling this coming up weekend. Hopefully everything goes good. I want to give a shout out to Backcountry Sportsman. I seen him at garage sales and yard sales this past weekend. He's a fellow reseller in the local area. He's been doing really good. I can tell by talking to him numerous times and hanging out with him a few times that he's one of those resellers that understands the business, and he understands that you have to enjoy this business if you want to succeed and you want to actually live happy and successful. You have to enjoy reselling. There's too many people out there that's jumping into this business just because they think it's a fast way to make money, or they look at it as a quick flip, type job type thing. So many different YouTubers out there that are just giving all these people, false hope and false sense of where to go within the reselling business, how to get rich quick type things. And it's just not true. This business is, it's for everyone. You can learn how to do this, no problem, but you actually have to enjoy it if you want to actually, keep some momentum and you want to keep going. And you also have to have that drive, and that drive comes from, enjoying what it is that you do. I don't have the drive to get up every morning and go yard selling or go on private picks. If it was just a job, I wouldn't have that drive. The reason that I have that drive is because I actually enjoy what it is that I do. I love finding stuff. I love the hunt. I love digging through boxes and finding something really nice. It's enjoyable to me. I love researching items. I love history. I love, looking up military stuff. I like figuring out who owned an item, where did it come from, when it was made, when it was built. I love looking up handmade items. I love art. I love everything to do with this business, and that's why I consider myself to be extremely successful in what I do, because it can't get no better. I'm living a successful life. I don't have to worry about money. I don't have to worry about anything of that nature, and I'm enjoying myself all at the same time. It doesn't get any better than that. Other than that, folks, I want to say thank you for watching another video. Please go down and hit that thumbs up button. I'm really close to 1,000 subscribers, and that's when I will actually be able to start making money off these videos. So if you would, please hit the thumbs up, and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure you hit that little bell notification. Until next time, folks, I really appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by and watching another video. I'm out. Peace.